Hey y'all, thanks for watching. So I'll be running in Bubba's Backyard Ultra up in Conway, New Hampshire in October 2025. I'm a couple weeks into my 16-week training block here and thought this would just kind of be a fun way to track my progress throughout the training block, give you guys a little bit of insight into training and that sort of thing. So what I'll be doing is just getting some clips together during each of one of my weekly long runs, putting that together, and then letting you guys just see some raw footage of the run, maybe kind of talking you through where the run was, what I did for that run, and then maybe a topic each week, this one being a little bit of an introduction into my background as a runner. So this type of thing might not be for everyone, but I've been looking for a little bit of a creative outlet and thought that this would be a fun way to track my progress throughout the training block. So this long run was out at Vaughn State Park. This is right over the state line. So I'm based in Dover, New Hampshire, and this is right over in Maine. So this run was 16 miles with 2,000 feet of elevation gain. I do a lot of my running on the roads and like community paths around my house. Luckily, Dover is pretty hilly, but it is nice to kind of just be over to some trails in like a 10 to 15 minute quick drive, get some punchy trails, some good scenery and that sort of thing. You can kind of see me here. I started out in that field. Now I'm going down towards the Salmon Falls River. And you can see Hamilton House here. This was built in the late 1700s. So just some really cool scenery under, beautiful blue sky here before we hop into the woods. So I won't get too into the weeds on what Bubba's Backyard Ultra is. I will focus on that in a future video. But I will say that each lap at this race has 250 feet of elevation gain. And that's something that I've been trying to focus on getting into my training runs here. So I think Vaughn Woods is actually a great spot to be training at for Bubba's. It's got some punchy ups and downs. I can get some good hill repeats in here if I need to. It's real rooty and rocky out here, so you really have to pay attention to where you're putting your feet. And when it rains out here, it gets super soggy. So great training grounds for something like Bubba's. So I do plan to spend a lot of time out here for those long runs. So like I said, I wanted to spend a little bit of time this week just giving you guys a quick introduction to my running background, which won't take long because it's not that extensive. I mostly played in team sports growing up, and football in high school and a little bit in college. Never really got into, distance running until maybe 2019, 2020, and then casually ran, a few half marathons over the years with friends and family from there. Ran my first 50K at Ghost Train Trail races. Can't say enough great stuff about Ghost Train. If you have a chance to sign up for that race, I highly recommend it. Ran my first 50K there in 2022. And my buddy Mike, who will also be running in Bubba's this year, ran his first 100 miler there that year. And I was just so impressed by him and the others that were grinding through the night and that next morning to get those 100 miles in, and was just incredibly inspired and wanted to come back and put myself in that same position. So the following year in 2023, I came back and ran my first 100 miler at Ghost Train in October of 2023. Our daughter, our first baby, was born in July of that year. So as you can imagine, the training block leading up to the race was kind of all over the place, but there's some sort of training going on when you're running on that much sleep deprivation. So I did what I could. My wife was incredibly supportive during that time. Really love her and the support that she's shown me throughout, my running journey here. So got it done. Took roughly 28 hours and 47 minutes. Was in a lot of pain at the end. Came through basically walking at the end, barely able to stand up. So I signed up for Bat Cove Backyard Ultra in Portland, Maine, for 2024, the following year, which was in July, and got a really good training block put together for that. Lots of strength work, some strides and that sort of thing. Really good aerobic work with some nice like back-to-back long runs and that sort of thing. And was just really proud of that training block, and got the 24 hours, 100 miles done for that race. Ended up top 5, which just really, really proud of that effort, especially given the conditions. I think it was between like 80 and 87 degrees during the day with 80% humidity. So just a really tough race to take part in. And one of the biggest things that I took from that race is that I think I checked out mentally a little bit earlier than I needed to. I finished my last lap with 7 minutes left on the clock before the start of the next lap and just didn't make it back out of the chair. So doing a lot of work on my mental fitness as well, and really looking forward to getting back to that pain cave and digging a little bit deeper. So one of the things that I really like about a loop route and course is that you can kind of just do all of your nutrition and take care of yourself back at the car, which you can see I'm doing here. So I don't have to carry any of that weight with me while I'm out on the trail. So if I can do it, I'll usually set something like this up, sit in the shade really quick. And honestly, it's good practice for something like a backyard ultra format where you're going to be taking that sort of break between every lap. I really appreciate y'all joining for the first video of this little series I'll be doing. I'm excited to kind of take you on this journey with me up until October, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.